abroad, and good morning to the folks here in Chicago. We'll get things going here with Toni, the newest member of the Naismith Hall of Fame, and Shell Ray. Get us going, please.
Hi, Toni. Congratulations. I saw you the last time we were able to be at the United Center, and this is something you really, really wanted. Talk to us about the reaction you had and the feelings you have about making the Hall of Fame.
Well, I was really excited about actually Jerry Reinsdorf called me and he said that I finally got in the Hall of Fame, and I basically didn't say finally. I'm actually thrilled that it happened. It's awesome feelings. I don't still have a full feeling probably in September when I get there. The whole thing is going to sink in, but it's awesome. Last couple days, the amount of people that congratulated me from literally everywhere in the world. I don't know how they got my phone number and everything, but I really got a lot of text messages. I answered a bunch of Zoom calls. Obviously, I'm in a way happy that I'm here in Croatia, the place that I started playing this game of basketball. Actually, that night I went to the game of my old club, and I was there watching them play, and then all the memories of the place we played in practice kind of came over me. There are some pictures from my young days playing here in Split. So it's in a way it's overwhelming, but it's so nice. It's so cool to see the messages, the things that players, their reactions about me getting into the Hall of Fame. So it's good to be me these days.
Toni, we remember when you were drafted and you didn't come for a few years, and you were transitioning from playing in Europe to playing in the NBA. How difficult was that transition?
Well, it wasn't easy. You all know by that time, not much was known about the European players. And we were coming in there as, I don't want to say total enigmas, but few games that we played against Dream Team. Some folks saw us playing Olympics or World Championships, and then that was about it. Couple scouts probably went across, as I was lucky enough that Duke was one of the Bull scouts who kind of knew my game. It's my older brother, pretty much. Clarence Gaines was one of the Bull scouts that came over to see me. So I'm really happy that Jerry stuck with that idea to bring me to the Bulls. Obviously, he had a world champion team there, but just his idea of how can I fit in that team was something, and just him talking me into coming over there and then give it a shot was turning point for me, and I decided to come over, and then everything else is pretty much well recorded. But
thanks, Toni. It was great.
The difficult thing obviously for me was adjusting to that new team. As well as I played here in Europe, it was something totally different. I had to get used to new teammates, new system, new coaching staff. Maybe in a way, Michael not being there first year helped me a little bit, because I got a lot of minutes that first year right away, and could play my natural role more than I would later in my Bulls years. But just getting used to a system and coaches and the players was good for me. Was really fun, and I loved every second of it.
Thank you. It was great covering you too.
Yeah, thank you very much. I appreciate it. You were always kind to me. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Toni, our next question here comes from Maxime with the free agent in France. Go ahead, Maxime.
Hi, Tony. What was the main difference between European and NBA basketball at that time?
What was the main? Well, I think the main difference was the amount of games. You had to get used to. There were 3 to 4 games played in a week. The game was way more physical. There were way more athletic players that you played against. So the challenge was not lose my part of the skills, but at the same time getting stronger, getting bigger, faster to be able to compete with them night in and night out.
All right, Tony, this next one's from Raphael Haynes with a 3-point conversion. Raphael, go ahead.
Hey, Tony, Raphael Haynes. First of all, congrats on making the Hall of Fame or getting inducted, I should say. And I wanted to ask, of course, we know the famous story about the during the Olympics when you got to face Michael and Scotty, but the next game you had a good game for the championship. So I wanted to ask you, did those games prepare you for the NBA? And did you, Scotty and Mike, ever talk about that once you got with the Bulls? And did they explain, the reason why?
We actually didn't talk much about that. That first game surprised me a little bit. Obviously, I knew I was drafted by the Bulls, but I didn't know inside things that happening inside a team, and I didn't know what was going on with Scotty and his contract and Jerry Krause and all that. And to be honest with you, when you play Olympics and a team like that is over there, you can't focus greatly on a team that is going to be in the finals. We still had to play other 7 teams to get ourselves maybe into the finals. And but after all of that, we're talking about Scottie Pippen and Michael Jordan guarding you. I don't think there are many players in the world that will have that many of the great games or good games with these 2 guys. It's well documented their defensive skills and everything. But at least the second game, I was a little more prepared what to look for, and I'm actually thrilled that I had a decent basketball game. That second one, it was a turning point for me to realize that I belong there, that I'm going to get myself give myself actually a chance to show these guys how good of a basketball player I really am, and I think I did that. And I want to actually thank both of them for really in a way showing me the ropes. Scotty that first year, and later on both of them, and challenging me on every practice and every game to do my best. And if this is the end result, and I'm pretty much sure it is, getting into a Hall of Fame, I can thank them for always being there for me.
Right. Tony, this next one's from David with Gazzetta in Italy. Go ahead, David.
Hi, Tony. Congratulations for the Hall of Fame.
Thank you.
Being from Italy, I need to ask you about your Italian experience. What did you learn here that prepared you for the NBA and then the Hall of Fame?
It was a great experience for me. I obviously knew most of the players because we played a lot during the European Championships. We actually played Italian national team in the finals right before I was going to go to play for Benetton. I had a great time those 2 years. I'm going to use this chance to thank Benetton family. They really were more than nice to me and my family those 2 years. But the whole city of Treviso embraced us with the open arms, and I'm glad that I was able to kind of return the kindness with winning the championship, winning a cup. The loss of the EuroLeague was, if not the biggest, probably the biggest loss, and I'm kind of sorry that I wasn't able to give that first European championship to Benetton family. They really deserved it.
All right. Christos, you got the next one here. Go ahead, Christos.
Hello, Mr. Kukoč. First of all, congratulations about your new accomplishment.
Thank you.
I'd like to ask you, for a European player who came from a different, completely different style of play in Europe, came to overseas and play in NBA, how difficult was to survive in a roster, in a team with players like Ron Harper, Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, and all those great players? And what is that factor that you are most proud of yourself through the years?
Well, like every player going into a new environment, you're trying to prove yourself first to the teammates, then to the coaching staff, or vice versa. But you're trying to earn the respect from a teammates. And the difficult part for me was actually going into the world champions, into the three-time champions. If I was going somewhere else, with a team that didn't make a playoffs, the stuff like that, maybe I would have felt more comfortable fighting right away for the starting lineup, things like that. But you are actually getting into the world champions with Michael, with Scotty, with Horace, with BJ, Pax, all the guys that you admire and you watched every night, 3-4 o'clock in the morning. So the pressure was just to earn their respect, to show them that I'm worthy of playing in the NBA, and my skills can actually help the team win games in the next couple of years. And I'm so thrilled that I was able to do that.
All right. Antoine, you have our next question here. Go ahead, Antoine. Antoine, can you unmute your mic, please?
Sorry. Okay. Do you hear me? Sorry.
Yes.
Hi, Toni. Congratulations.
Thank you.
In 1987, you played against the USA junior team where Larry Johnson was in, I think Stacey Ogman too. And a few years later, you played the McDonald's games against the Knicks when you blocked Patrick Ewing. I wanted to know if you have any memories from these games. What do you remember of these games? Did you feel at these moments that you were ready to play against those players in the NBA?
Well, that was a springboard for us. That tournament you're talking about, Bormio, the junior championships, because we knew that these guys are future of the NBA. That they were at the time. At the time, we actually didn't know them that well, but we knew that Gary Payton was one of them as well, Larry Johnson, and all those guys are probably the best young United States players. And at one point, they're going to be drafted. They're going to have a successful NBA careers, which they did. And I met all these guys playing against Seattle in the finals, playing against New York or Charlotte. So us beating them at that age kind of gave us the idea that if we ever decide to go to the NBA, that we actually belong there. That's not something that it's still unreachable for us, and that we're not ready for it. And playing that game, I was fortunate enough to play a couple McDonald's tournaments. So I played against Denver. I played against Boston when I was probably 18, 19 years old. I played against New York. So all that kind of gives you some idea that you belong in a world of basketball, that you if you give your best, practice, play the way you're capable of, that you can prove yourself and get a chance to succeed in the NBA.
Thank you, Toni.
Well,
Stefan, you have the next question. Go ahead.
Thank you. Dobar dan, Toni.
hi, how are you?
Yeah, I'm great. Stefan Nikolic, B92. Actually, you were you were drafted in 1990, but you started playing in 1993. What my question is, how big was you getting drafted? When we see the whole picture, Vlade Divac was drafted the year before you. You were kind of considered as the pioneers, people who have, recorded the path for younger players that are playing right now. You were the sixth man of the year, I think, 1996. And right now, there is another XU player who can be an MVP, actually a little bit bigger step, Nikola Jokic. So can you compare the development of the league for European players mostly back then, considering what have been done and what is happening right now?
Well, at the time we were unknown as a player. They heard of us. They heard of there's Vlade Divac, Dražen Petrović, Dino Raja, Toni, Kukoč from Yugoslavia, the Sabonis, Marcilionis, and all these guys. But I don't think they really knew how capable and how skilled we are as a players back then. So when we got to the teams, none of the players knew what we play, what positions we play, how good we can play, just what the couple of scouts says. Obviously, 20, 30 years later, right now, you can see every player starting playing basketball at the age of 12 or 13. So players like Jokic or Doncic, Bogdanovic, Šarić, all these guys are well known well before they get to the NBA. And the trust in these players are way bigger right now than it was back then. So these guys, as soon as they get into their teams, there's a trust that they can lead the team. The ball is given to them because of a trust in their judgment and their skills of how to play basketball, how to get everybody involved. And I think it's a great thing. I think it's awesome that one of these guys, actually a couple of them, have a chance to be MVPs of the league, and obviously that they're showing that those skills with the way they play.
All right. You got the next question. Go ahead, please.
Okay, thanks a lot. Hello, Toni. Veliki pozdrav iz Beograda i Srbije. Nebojša Todorović ovdje sa portala Nova RS. Did you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. I would like on our languages, but if you must on English, it's no problem.
Okay.
Okay, first of all, congratulations for the Hall of Fame. Just amazing, big success. I just want to ask you how you look at that from this point of view. And my colleague asked you also about Nikola Jokic and the players from Serbia, Croatia. But what you can say about everything that Jokic does in these games and its candidate for the MVP, how you look on that compared to your time in NBA? Thanks a lot, and once again, congratulations.
First, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Well, the Jokic is a complete player, and you can see that every game he plays, that he contributes with the points, rebounding, assists. So he's given a chance to be a leader of that team, and he's playing great. It's actually the fun to watch him play. He doesn't take that as a job. He works hard at it, but it looks like it's a game for him. He enjoys competing at the highest level, and that's actually the beauty of the game of basketball. That all the practice and everything you do on a side that nobody sees, you can translate to the court once you get there. And then he is very capable, and he actually forces the other players to fall into his rhythm of the game. You can't say for him that he's the most athletic, the fastest guy on the court and everything, but just his vision, his idea of playing, seeing what's happening on the court a second or two faster than anybody else makes him a great basketball player.
All right, Tony, the next one here is from John Greenberg with The Athletic in Chicago. John, go ahead.
Hey, Tony, have you thought about who's going to be your presenter, Hall of Fame?
Have I thought? Of course I thought about it. I thought a lot about it. And I'm going to keep that a secret until it happens. But there's plenty of candidates for it. I wish I can bring about 100 people because I really feel I had a plethora of coaches, a plethora of players. There's I don't want to say a bunch, that's a bad word for it, but there's a lot of them. They're already in the Hall of Fame. So when you play with the players like that, your chances to do something great or good, it rises. And I was fortunate enough from when I started at 15 years old playing basketball that I had a great generation of players like Dino, like Vlade, like Dražen, and just competing with them and playing with them kind of forces you to rise your idea of basketball, your physical readiness. Our coaches were amazing. That's well-known fact in the world of basketball that ex-Yugoslavian coaches were one of the best coaches in the world. So having these people at the right place at the right time for me was a key. And then going back, I thought that generation and these coaches might never happen once I left Croatia or Yugoslavia at the time. But I was fortunate then again to play with the Benetton, which had a great team and wanted to improve and wanted to win things, and obviously drafted by the Bulls and having a chance to play with Michael and Scotty and Dennis and all the other guys. I mean, I think that whole team deserves to be in the Hall of Fame with the coaching staff and everything. It's a rare occasion. It doesn't happen that often that you have that kind of team when everybody is looking to help each other, to assist each other, to sacrifice their game just to win games and win championships. And then again, you have Phil and Dax and John Buck and all the other coaches that were there who absolutely knew how to challenge you, how to put you on your right path to succeed.
Cool, thanks. Congratulations, man.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Tony, this next one comes from Jack Hart with Stats Perform. Go ahead, Jack.
Hey, Tony, congratulations.
Thank you, appreciate it.
We're coming up on the 25th anniversary of the 1996 NBA draft, where quite an incredible crop of talent was picked, including Allen Iverson, Ray Allen, Kobe Bryant, Steve Nash. At the time, did you kind of see that as an incredible group of players? Obviously, in hindsight, we know now, but did it seem like kind of a different draft?
Well, you never know. You never know. The beauty of game of basketball is that some guys develop at the age of 17. Some guys develop into a really good players at the age of 22, or even later. But you never know. It's an individual thing. It doesn't matter because they came out of. I don't think you can say right now that there were who's going to be good on this draft or next year's draft, who are going to be the best player of that draft. It just happens sometimes. You have a number one picks that never find their way that they don't fit in a team they go to, and it just puts them in a wrong path, and then they never succeed being a number one overall picks. But then you have guys that are not even drafted, but just they desire to play in the NBA, to play the game of basketball, and just being maybe fortunate enough to get into a right team with the right coaches, the right teammates, can make you work harder and have a success in the NBA.
Tony.
Did I lose you guys? There we go.
Tyler Butler, go ahead, please.
Hey, thank you for taking my question, Tony. First off, congratulations from all of Bulls Nation.
Thank you very much.
With you being the newest member from that 98 team to become a Hall of Fame member, have you had time to really reflect on how great it was or how special that team was?
Well, I always thought that team was special, regardless of if we had a 0 or right now 4, or maybe actually even more with the coaching staff and the management, Hall of Famers. This to me just kind of puts my career into something special. This is a perfect ending to my basketball career as a player. But when you win 72 games and you end the season with the championship, it's absolutely a perfect season. And then you win another 2, so 3 in a row. You have to see that group as something special, as something that it's not going to come around often. So obviously, my love for those guys and in all the times we spent together is tremendous.
Thank you, and congratulations again.
Thank you very much.
All right, Tony, this next one here comes from Matthew out of France. Go ahead, please.
Hi, Tony. Congratulations for the Hall of Fame.
Thank you.
How do you rank yourself among the best European players of all time in the NBA? And do you think guys like Giannis or Doncic will be first one day?
How do I don't like to rank myself, and it's hard to do that. I can tell you that generation of the players I played with, the guys born 67, 68 in ex-Yugoslavia were special. Adding Dražen and I think just being fortunate, I was fortunate to find myself playing with these guys. So it's on the other people to say who's the best, who's second, third, fourth, whatever. But in the same time, you haven't played with the guys prior to us. We never played against Doncic or Jokic or Giannis. I rarely played. I actually played a couple years, but I was already older player against Nowitzki or Tony Parker and the other guys. So it's hard to say in a way who's the best, but it's obvious that each one of us left a mark in a world basketball coming from Europe, and we kind of. Each one of us put it a mark of European basketball on a world scene.
Thank you, Tony.
You're welcome.
All right, Tony, we've got 3 more here and then we'll conclude. So let's go with Lucas with El Mundo out of Spain. Lucas, go ahead.
Hi, Tony. Good afternoon from Spain, and congrats for the Hall of Fame.
Thank you very much.
I want to ask you about the success of the Spanish national team in the World Cup and in these years, and if it's for you it's comparable that you achieved with Yugoslavia in the 90s.
Of course it is. Of course it is. They had a great basketball team with two Gasol brothers and everybody that played in that era. I don't really know how good is the Spanish national team right now. Obviously, these guys are getting older. I don't know if they're going to play anymore. But at one point, they won pretty much everything. I don't know if I can compare it because it was different era at the times where we were on a high. We were beating most of the teams pretty soundly, but yes, they had that period when they were really one of the best, if not the best, basketball team in Europe and the world.
Thank you.
Nikola, you got the next question. Go ahead here, please. Nikola? All right, let's go on to Antoine. Antoine, why don't you go for us, please?
Yes, Toni, we talked a bit about you coming to the NBA. You had to gain some weight, before entering to the NBA, and it changed a bit your game and your position on your court. I wanted to know, do you have any regrets not to have been able to play exactly the same way you used to play in Europe, or do you think it would have been impossible at the time? Physically,
you know
impossible.
what? As I said, it was something unknown for me as well as for the coaches and everything. So when I arrived, being 6'10", they probably thought of me more as being a 4 spot, and in the need of a 4 spot, they told me in order to play in the NBA and compete against all these athletes, the stronger athletes, the faster athletes, that I needed to gain some muscle. So if I gave myself 2 or 3 years to put those muscles on, my construction would probably carry it easier than put all that muscle in 1 year. I mean, once I got used to the weight, it helped me a lot after 3 years or something like that. But doing it in 1 year, and I think I lost the aerobic part of me as a player that first year, and I couldn't run as long as hard as I did when I was in a 90 kilos or I was actually playing in Europe. I was around 92 kilos, and getting into the NBA. I remember I was in between 228 to 232 pounds, which makes it 105 probably, so somewhere around there, if I'm not mistaken. So to put that kind of weight in 1 year, it was a little challenging. But I was expected to play more of a 3 and 4 spot, and once I lost some weight, I got faster, quicker. It was more suitable for me to play multiple positions that way. And I'm glad actually that Dennis came in as a 4, as a rebounder, so I didn't have to really be only in that position. I could have gone back in my natural position, and just the idea of Phil to use me in a different roles helped me, and just playing in the triangle offense that you can actually run in any position you want. You can be from the point guard to the 5 spot just by you running into certain positions on the court. That was another help. And obviously with the talent we had with Michael and Scotty and Dennis and Harp, understanding of the game was tremendous. It was on the highest level. All that helps you when the help is needed.
Thank you very much. Congrats.
You're welcome. Thank you.
All right, Toni, we're going to conclude real quick with one last question, and that's going to come from Peter with Athens News Agency out of Greece. Peter, go ahead.
Congratulations, Tony.
Thank you.
You said that the final versus USA in the 1992 Olympics was a turning point. Was there any moment between the first match against him and the second one that you doubted yourself? That you thought maybe I don't belong there? I wouldn't belong there? Or were you always sure?
You know what? There was only a couple days in between the first and the second game. My personal life, I had some things happening there. My wife was pregnant, just about delivering our son. Just a day after. Obviously, it's a well-known thing that war was going on here in Croatia. All that kind of made me, in a way, maybe just not completely ready for the first game. And once I knew what to be expected in a second game, in a final game, it was a challenge to me to get myself ready, to be prepared for what happened in the first game. And just the idea that I was able to perform better, that was exactly, it was a turning point that I said, regardless of what they say, I'm ready in my mind. I'm ready, and I'm gonna I'm gonna show and let them know what I can do over there, and prove myself to everybody.
Hey, Tony, we're gonna go back to Nikola real quick. He had trouble with his computer for a second, so we'll finish with Nikola here, and then we'll wrap it up.
Okay.
Nikola, go ahead, please. Nikola? Okay, looks like he's still having some issues. So want to conclude with our call today, guys. Thank you for your time. Appreciate you joining us. Tony, thank you for your time as well. Congratulations on the honor.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
We hope to see you again in September.